I ran across an old chiropractic friend of mine I hadn't seen in years. He left Dallas years ago to find fame and fortune. 8 months ago, he came back to Dallas to do the same thing. So ran into him, we're exchanging information, and he's telling me about the way he's being abused. He got a job at a clinic here in town. He's overworked, underpaid, they're understaffed, and life is just terrible. Now, it's been this way for most of his life. He tells me that he has a poverty mentality. He said this. He said he's changing it, or at least he's working on it. So I asked him, what are you doing? He said, well, I've gone to a couple of ashrams in different cities. I've hired a yogi to teach me meditation and chanting. I've taken classes at different churches. I created a program for myself, he said. Every day for the last 2 years, I've been praying, I've been chanting, and I've been meditating. And he said, God has forsaken me. I'm no better off now than I was 2 years ago. So he didn't know why. He had no idea why this was happening. So I'm standing there and I said, I think I have an idea. Now it's been a lot of years since I saw him. He doesn't know the work that I've been doing recently. So I explained to him, I said, here's what I think has happened. And you'll get the explanation. But when I gave it to him, he's shaking his head, no. Sorry, no. Can't be right. Can't be right. It can't be that simple. It just can't be that simple. And I keep going through the explanation, and I explain everything to him. And he's going, no, it just can't be right. And I said, well, come to class, and this was last week. Come to class, and I'll give you more details about it. And he goes, no, I'm going to figure it out on my own. It just can't be that simple. Well, it's going to be 8 years from now when I see him again, probably, and guess what? They'll still be looking for prosperity. I do believe things are simple. Simplicity is eloquent. It's very eloquent to be simple. I'm a very simple person in most cases. So I've done a lot of thinking about the answer to his question. The purpose of this class is to give you the answer to that question. That's number one. The second thing is to allow you to begin to achieve your prosperity. We all have a purpose and a plan. That came from God. If we are following that plan, we are designed to have perfection. We are designed to have the happiness and joy that we want. Okay, so that's the second part of this class. Third part is to allow you to make good decisions, accurate decisions about current events, current situations you may have to answer. And the fourth is to look into the future and be able to predict what the future is going to do, because we do know the future quite accurately. We do know it. Okay? Now, we're going to be doing this in 3 weeks. Okay? We have 3 more classes. We have a lot to cover. By the end of those 3 weeks, I'll be extremely happy if you are soundly versed in prosperity. You build upon prosperity at the beginnings of this class. You can do anything that you want to from there. Okay? But we're going to go through all 3 of those steps. Fair? So that's the purpose of the class. That's why I'm here tonight. That's why I hope you're here tonight. But I know we have a lot of new people here that weren't here last week. So the new people that weren't here last week, would you mind standing, please? I want to recognize you. Okay. All right, so would you tell us your name and why you're here? And let's start with you, young lady.
My name is Kristen Moore, and last weekend I came to the festival and I heard you, and it actually touched me and moved me, so I just wanted more information to continue filling my soul.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
My name is Kenyatta Kiafa, and I actually grew with the same. Met you at the festival and wanted to come and learn more.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
My name is Charles Matthew, and I'm here to learn more about me.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Deb Bliss, and I've been hearing Bob talk about it, and so I invited myself.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. For those of you who want to, you can sit. Please.
My name's Melina. I met you at the Addison Wellness Expo a while back, and I just thought it was so good, and I was waiting for this email to come, and so I can talk today.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Please.
My name is Sylvia, and I was invited by Eneida. Invited myself. Because I didn't get an email.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Please.
My name is Sal Olympio. I'm a friend of Chris Asaruz. He told us about this program, and we were were very interested, and so we thought we'd come out and see what this is all about.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm Dwayne Martrat, and I'm his partner, so I did the same thing.
Oh, very good, very good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. We have a lot of material to cover. I'm going to give you 30-plus years of my research fast. Okay? Because I think we can do this very quickly. We've learned a lot in these 30-plus years, and I hope we can synchronize this to make it very easy for you. Because I do believe this is easy. And it starts with the basic concepts. Basic concepts are that this is an antenna system, this spinal system. It's an antenna system. It's sending out, receiving information. It's sending out every thought, every belief, every action that you've ever had. And for everyone else, it's doing the same thing. We are all sending this out, we're all receiving it. So it has to go through, since it's an antenna, it has to go through areas that are powering this antenna. One of them would be the brain, our logical side. Okay? The other is the heart, the emotional side, and this obviously represents the human side. Then we have the area about an inch below the navel, which is our spirit side, our connector to God, our connector to the divine. Now, the big problem is, and this is what really took me a long time to understand, why is it, if this is an antenna, and it's sending out, receiving information just like any antenna does, why does it take so long to understand what God's trying to tell us? Why do we get so many mixed signals? Well, the answer to that comes back from the human side. The human side is generally taking over because we've all got very good at living in the human side. Our educational system, our medical institutions, our religious institutions, you name it, they're always focused on the human side. And even if you watch the Hallmark Channel and you're watching those movies, what do they say? Follow your heart, right? They always say, follow your heart. Well, I guarantee you, those people that are following their heart are going down the tubes just as fast as the people that are following their brain. So don't listen to that. So what can you follow if you can't follow your brain or heart? Well, we've got to go back to the spirit area. The question has always been, what interferes with the spirit? Again, we go back to the human side. What happens is that no matter what the situation is, most of us are going to start either with a brain situation or a heart situation. We're either going to try to use our logic to try to resolve the question. We're going to try to feel our way through with the heart. Either way, we're going to fail. Now, Einstein talked about that over 100 years ago, and he said you can't solve a problem from the same level that created it. So all of the problems that we're seeing in every part of our life are problems that we have created from here, the human side. So now we get back to how do we move from here down to here? Well, this is what consumed me for 30-plus years. And I think I've got a pretty good answer. The first thing is you must want it. You must want to change. You may not know how, you may not know why, but you must understand that there is a better idea available to you. At the time of conception, I believe 3 things happened. 3 simple things happened. One is the exchange of genetic information. I mean, we all know that. Okay? So something physical happened. In order to move something physical, energy had to move it. Okay? I believe that energy is found in 2 parts. One is the human side, the human energy, the old stories that we got through our families, through countless generations. The stories that I inherited from my father didn't come just from my father. They came from generations, probably going back tens and tens and tens of thousands of years, just like he inherited. Same things with us. We all got a very good dose of it, and that dose went through our physical body systems and affected every cell, every gene, every chromosome in our body. And in fact, I would venture to say that most of our physical body is under that control because we are allowing that to occur. The third thing that happened was I also believe that we were given an imprint by God, a story by God, for a purpose and destiny. I think we all came here for a purpose and destiny. I believe that we worked with God before. He gave us that purpose and destiny and said, here it is. And I put a spirit inside of you. That spirit, I believe, resides in this lower body area and is trying to always get through to us and give us information. It's always trying to give us information. Problem is, brain and heart's taking over, preventing us from getting that information. So we must want it. We must recognize that it's there. And then I believe there are a few steps we can use to get there. And I believe we'll be able to work with a few of these steps here tonight. But let me give you an example of how this can stop you, the brain or heart. Heart deals with fear, doubt, and certainty. So let's suppose that I'm telling you right now that in order for you to do this work, you need to move from the heart area, where some of you are right now, and you need to move down to the spirit area. So we'll give you the steps, you'll try doing it, and if you're not careful, the heart's going to take over and it's going to say, because it deals with fear, doubt, and uncertainty, it's going to say, you can't do it. I'm afraid. You'll be wrong. I know, because that's what it tells me, and it told me for years when I tried to do this. You'll be wrong, you can't do it. And if you're wrong, and if this isn't right, then what do I have? If I have to go back to the human side, which doesn't work, and spirit side doesn't work, then what am I left with? So it's constantly trying to self-sabotage you. Constantly. It'll do that for me, it'll do it for you. If you go to the brain, say we're trying to move from the brain down to the spirit side. Well, the brain deals with anger and frustration. So the brain wants to fight. It wants to fight. The heart generally is afraid. The brain deals with anger and frustration and it wants to fight. So who is it going to fight with? You. It's going to fight with you. So it'll say, hey, you can get down here, and it will encourage you probably to get down here to the spirit area. But then it will try to self-sabotage you and try to have you do things that you know won't work. And then when you see they're not working, you're going to get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, because we're working from the brain area, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get angry. And probably you're going to give up. You're going to quit. Yeah?
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Right. There you go. There we go. Keep it up.
I'm a brain person, I know.
That's it. That's it. That's what's going to happen. Look, all of these things happen to me. I persevered because years ago, without any doubt, I knew that there had to be a spirit inside our body. There was a spirit inside our body. It had to be able to give us this information. It had to. I wanted to know what this information was. That's why I left TI when I was a research physicist there and went to chiropractic school. Even though I was there and I got good information, I knew there was still a lot more. There was a lot more to the story. And that's what kept me going. I still know there's a lot more to this story. There's a lot more. And even today, I'm getting better. I still make mistakes, so I don't make many. Okay, now I can generally get to the answer pretty fast. A lot better than I used to. But again, it's a work in progress. And if I'm in that way, so are you. But I'm warning you right now, you've got to practice. If you're not careful though, if you're working from the heart area, you know what it's going to tell you. You could be wrong. And if you could be wrong, it's going to try to encourage you to not participate, to not do it. If you're working from the brain, it doesn't work. You can't do it. Okay, it wants to fight. You understand where we're going. It's a wild road. It's amazing. Once you can get out of this area, what information is available to you, and that's for all of you. It's amazing what's there. So, in evaluating this and trying to understand how could we make this simple? How can we make this simple, this move? I took all the steps that I was doing in going from here down here, and the first thing I realized was I'm going into some form of hypnosis. When I move from here down to here, I'm going to an altered state, a hypnotic state. I realized that several months ago. Well, I don't know anything about hypnosis, but I sent it out that, hey, since I want to teach this and I want to help people, you got to help me, God, so bring someone and give me the information. A few weeks later, I meet Chris. Okay. Chris comes in, and guess what? He's been studying hypnosis for a long time. Well, for a long time. Thank you. So we exchanged ideas, he liked it, and we got something going, which we're going to present tonight, which I know is going to help you. Okay? Now the second part of this is, I know that if I can do this work, I have to be enthusiastic. I have to be energetic. I have to be healthy. You can't do this work if you're sick, tired, afraid. You can't do this work. One of the things that I use to keep me up and going are essential oils. I smell them, I put them on my body, I use them before I go to bed, I use them quite frequently. Well, we have an expert with essential oils right here. Ruthie, would you mind standing? Okay. She is our resident expert with essential oils. Okay. And when I brought the ideas up with her, she said, great. So we put together some ideas, and she has a few products that we're going to distribute. So the combination of using self-hypnosis, using some of the oils to activate us, to give us more energy, and realizing what the traps are. I told you what the traps are, either from the brain or the heart. And then practicing will start to bring you the results that you want. So tonight, we're going to practice. We're going to practice, and we're going to work on the concept of manifesting. Manifesting to me means that we can achieve health, wealth, relationships, and a time to enjoy it, all working together as one. And we're not doing all the hard work. Working from here means it's hard, tough, difficult, and you're the only one doing the work from here. That's it. It's as far as it goes. It's the human side. There is no God here because it's human, by definition. Moving down to the spirit side, now I'll use my definition of God. You can use yours, but mine is God, Christ, Holy Spirit, and angels. When I move down to the spiritual side, now they are working in partnership with me. Now all of my efforts are magnified. All I had to do was send it out that I needed help with the concept of hypnotism, for example. I was very relaxed. I didn't know how it was going to come, but then I see on my books that there's this young man, and he has this incredible talent, and things just start moving. Why can't we make life this simple in everything we're doing? Why? Why?
Why not?
No. Why? Why does it have to be so hard? The reason why my friend, that chiropractic friend of mine, wasn't making any progress after 2 years, even though he was doing all the work, and he was doing good work, no doubt about it, he was always working from the heart side. He was afraid. He was always afraid. Now, I can pray all I want, I can chant all I want, I can do whatever you want me to do from here, but there is no God from here. So for 2 years, he's been doing everything on his own. He's no further along now than he was 2 years ago. His own words, not mine. We have to be careful with you. We have to be careful that when you go through these techniques, that you understand you are moving from the human side, and you are going to move down to the spirit side. We're going to be moving all the way down. Even after years of some people taking classes, I've asked them to move down to the spirit side, to do it in front of me. And they've done good work. They've moved from here or here. Maybe they've gone down to there, but they're not all the way down. So they're not getting the benefits either. So tonight, we're going to practice. We're going to practice this concept. I've got to make sure that when you do this work, that you're working from down here. Am I being clear with that? Okay, this is very, very important. And it seems easy. It seems like anyone can do this, and you can do it. I want to make sure you focus on it and we do it correctly. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, before I turn you over to Ruthie and Chris, I'm going to ask everyone to stand, and we're going to form, just like we did last week, we're going to form 2 lines, a line of people along here, a line of people along there. You all did very well. This is not that easy as you're seeing, especially for the new people. For the ones that I corrected, when you went further, did you experience anything? Did you feel differently when you went down a little bit further? Did anything? Did you feel more relaxed?
Yeah, more connected.
More connected, right. Were you more at peace?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. So let me give you just a little tidbit on this. In the beginning, I don't care how far down you think you are. Give yourself an extra minute or 2 and keep seeing that you're going further down. Give yourself another 1 or 2 minutes, and practically every one of you would have been in the right area. So if you think you're there, wait another 1 to 2 minutes, keep seeing it go down even more, you will be there, most likely. That's all you have to do. Just keep it simple. Yeah. Make sense?
Yes.
What happens if you go more than an inch below?
Not going to matter. It's not going to matter. You can go lower if you want. It's just, I'm trying to give you, though, an area where we still are focused on the torso of the body.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
I want to share something.
Please.
Can I?
Sir, would you mind? Yeah, would you mind standing?
Thank you. It just happened on Tuesday in the afternoon. I work out of a metaphysical store in Richardson on Main Street, and I had an appointment with a lady that was coming for a healing at 1 o'clock. So I got there at 12:15 to set up. And I always, make the room, pray clean the room, energetically and do all that. And I've been praying and I was, chanting and I was working, with the divine. I was connected.
Right.
And I knew I was connected because I knew she was going to show up any minute. What happened? There was a car accident. She couldn't, listen to this. This is so profound for me. There was a car accident. She didn't show up until 1:45. So 45 minutes when I had to get out of the room. And she, oh, I'm so sorry. How are you? When she was lying on the table and all that, I forgot to reconnect again. Because I had already left everything. And I already went into the moon down. You know what's going on, out of fear, is she going to show up? What is going to happen if she ever show up? And that made me think, what did I do wrong? Because the treatment was not as it always is. I was not connected.
Right.
Because I lost it. And the hour later, that she showed up. And I was, putting behind everything and everyone.
Right.
And I want you to tell me, Dr. Berman, if that is correct, the way I'm, visualizing that, because I didn't know what I did wrong.
Well, you were in the heart, okay? So instantaneously, we weren't connected, okay? We weren't in the spirit area, so you're right. You're right about that. So since you brought that up, this is an important point. Suppose you are working with someone, the general public, who's going to be 99+% of the time either here or here.
Exactly.
Now you have to deal with them. Okay? Now you could try to match them here or here if you want, but guess what's going to happen? Trouble, with a capital T. Okay? The way out of it is, we use the elevator to move down to the spirit area. Instantly, you change. Instantly, you change. Now, that person, I don't care who they are, I don't care what they are, I don't care what their purpose is, the moment you move down to the spirit area, they sense it. If that person wants to fight with you from their brain, you've disconnected. You're not going to fight with them. They're not going to fight with you. Because there's nothing to fight with or for. You're gone. You're in the spirit area.
You're in the spirit.
There's nothing that they can do. If they're afraid, they're going to try to make you afraid. But you're in the spirit area, so you're not going to take the bait. So they'll calm down too. You see where I'm going with this? You see how useful this is?
But what do you do with that when you're in the spirit area?
What do you do with them? You keep blessing them. You keep blessing them. You keep praising them, spirit to spirit. You keep sending good vibes to them. Like, you're praying for them. You're blessing them. You want the best for that person. And you just keep saying over and over again, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for allowing us to have the interaction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So they can do whatever they want to try to get you upset, but you're working from here and you keep blessing them. You're actually blessing them. Now you're blessing yourself too, because you're blessing them. And you're asking for them to cooperate with you because you want to cooperate with them. I ask my business people, I've trained a lot of business people to do this, because I want them to win and I want the people they're working with to win. Everyone has to win. You're not doing this to take advantage of someone. You're doing this so that the other person can calm down, the other person has a chance to win, and you'll win. Both of you can work from the same point of spirit to spirit, even if they don't know what you're doing. It is amazing how effective this is. It's amazing. Do you see my point?
What if you don't feel any different? Like, a minute ago you asked if we feel different when we're into the spirit area. What if you didn't feel any different?
Keep practicing. Keep practicing.
Keep practicing.
It's a change. You're changing out of a lot of old history in the human side, and we're attempting to go down in the spirit area. Sometimes it'll be a dramatic difference. Sometimes it will take time. Okay? Especially if there's a history of a lot of drama in a person's life. If there is, it's sometimes very hard to relax enough to come down here. And if you're there, it's still hard to trust sometimes. But you were there. You were down in this area. Okay? So it just takes practice. Now, Ruthie, would you mind giving a little bit of information about those products that we've been working on. So take over if you would, please, and then we'll turn it over to Chris.
If anybody has questions on specific oils, then I'll be happy to answer them after the session, okay? Okay, so basically, we decided we were going to have a little meeting to come up with a plan of how we can make things better for this class. And Gary asked me to do a short introduction to you guys about the oils. There's 2 new blends that are going around, and there's one which is the Stress RX that a lot of people like. And basically how these oils could possibly help with our meditation. So Chris and Gary and I met to discuss it, and I came prepared to our meeting with a list of 32 different blends that kind of like looking at something to launch from. Because if, you know, we didn't really know which way we were going to go. So, of course, Gary did a scan for us, and I am going to read the scan, the statement that we used, okay? Basically, the statement that was used for the scan as Spirit to show us the blends and the processes that will be most effective that help the user effectively and safely and simply to allow their subconscious mind to take suggestion to better themselves in the process of healing and abundance and to get past their critical judgments and fears. So that was a statement that was created, and that's what Gary used to scan. The 2 basic blends that came up were, one was called Loss and Remembrance, and the other one is called Immune Support. So let's start with the Loss and Remembrance one. That was from a blend that was originally designed by my mentor and professor and teacher, Dr. Bruce Burkowski. And he originally designed that as a blend to help those that have been affected by the loss of a child in their life. So that wasn't exactly the same purpose for us, so that's why it came up that it needed to be amended. So there were, I'm going to just very quickly read the oils in that blend, and then I will tell you the additional oils that came up. The oils that were in the basic blend are sage, neroli, jasmine, pine, galbanum, hyssop, linseed, rosemary, and lavender. So we further asked Spirit to guide us to see which additional oils were required. And our intention was to develop a blend that would support those that use the blend in the deep healing of their inner wounds, retrieval of their soul sparks, and support them in achieving their purpose and destiny. So the blend shifted. And after scanning, the following oils were added: juniper, helichrysum, eucalyptus, tuberose, and mastic. That was one formula. And that's the one that is called Retrieve RX. The second formula that came up was an immune support blend. And that one also was based on a blend that was previously designed by Dr. Burkowski. This blend supports and amplifies the immune system and the aura that's invisible to the naked eye, but provides a self-defense shield to all of us. It can also support us before we travel, whenever we have any kind of emotional or immunological stress challenges. For example, if we have to go visit somebody in the hospital, or we have family gatherings, or we're in a busy area. And it was specifically designed to have a beneficial effect on those that use it to support the fulfillment of the purpose and destiny. So at that point, it took a while before we got the oils, and then we had to start looking at the actual design. The blends were created in 5 layers each, and we also used some of the oils as catalysts. So there's different energetic steps that I took when I was adding the drop by drop of each layer. So it's they're very complex formulas, and I hope you guys like them. So he also asked me to discuss how these oils could help us with meditation. And essential oils can help because they promote certain things. They promote relaxation, They promote a sense of peacefulness and calm and mental clarity. They're cleansing and purifying, they're grounding, and they also help us with an inner focus and with our process towards enlightenment. Ultimately, essential oils are like a tool that's in our toolbox that can help us with the connection to spirit. And you can use that whenever you need it. How it works. Essential oils are volatile compounds, and they're obtained from the seeds or the leaves or the bark or the resins of different plant material. One of the most remarkable aspects of essential oils is their ability to simultaneously influence our physical body, our mental bodies, our emotional bodies, and our spiritual health. They've been used to support health and wellness as well as in religious ceremonies for thousands of years. When we inhale that fragrance, that aroma penetrates our bloodstream. And it's an amazing mechanism because it exerts physiological effects, but it also goes directly into our brain's limbic system. And that controls our memories and our emotions. It's kind of like you're walking into somebody's home and you smell this apple pie and you think of your grandma, right? Because memories are attached to different fragrances. We do know that negative emotions can harm us spiritually. And we also know that whenever we have something that's energetic, if we don't take care of it, then it could develop into something physical. And that's why I use essential oils so much, because it helps me snap out of a lot of this stuff. I still get things that go wrong that I have to deal with, but it could have been much worse, that's for sure. So a little bit of the history of essential oils in spiritual practices. Aromatic essences and the burning of incense has been used in spiritual ceremonies as long as we have records. In ancient Egypt, incense was burned and it was offered to the gods. Large quantities were burned every day in temples throughout Egypt. The Bible, it contains many references to the burning of incense as part of the sacred ceremonies. In the New Testament, you've got frankincense and myrrh that were delivered and offered to Christ's child by the wise men. More than a dozen aromatic plants are referred to in the Old and New Testaments. And that's pretty cool. A lot of them are still being used today, like galbanum, which is in the formula, frankincense, juniper. These are part of the blends that are going around there. So, let me see. It was also used by ancient Romans, Greeks, Persians, Indians, and the Chinese for a variety of purposes, including religious rituals. There is some scientific research, and there is more and more every day. I did a very quick search on PubMed. PubMed is an online website that you can go and get the different published research. And the quick search that I did showed that there's 1,263 studies listed under the term aromatherapy. That's not looking at essential oils or particular essential oils, just with that one tag. And back in '87, there was only one research done that year. This year, 2018, so far there's been 96. So it's an area that is definitely under more research medically, and those that have been using it in aromatherapy and in spiritual practice have known the effects. Science is now catching up with us. So as far as the actual oils that are in the blend, I do have details on them. The one blend that I did have to do a little bit more research on, which was not originally formulated, was the Loss and Remembrance one, I believe. And that one, I do have a list here of, and Dennis hates this word, rubrics that were used to develop the blend. And I'll leave that up here also, so if you guys want to take a look at it, because what I do when I practice spiritual phytoessencing is I look at the different definitions for the case that I'm working with. And then based on that, I get a snapshot of what we're looking at, and then the oils just kind of start matching up. So that's my little less than 15-minute presentation. Yes.
Crazy question. Okay, when we have the oils, where's the best place to put the oils for us?
Okay,
We're not inhaling
it
it.
depends on which blend, okay?
Stress RX.
The Stress RX, you can use it on your chakra points, and then different points along the meridian, depending on what you're working with. And that is something that I'm sure Dr. Berman can guide you with. Some oils, it depends on the person, it depends on the oil, even though they're natural products, and I use therapeutic grade essential oils, not everybody has the same reaction or need. So we have to treat them with utmost respect and make sure that they're what you need before you use them. Applying them topically, not every oil can be applied topically without dilution. So there's a lot there that really needs to be individualized. Okay. Any other questions? Dr. Berman?
Very good. Thank you.
Hey guys, I know we're kind of running toward the end, and I've got prepared a really nice guided meditation for us. So I'm going to kind of skip the stories and everything that I had. But real quick, hypnosis is defined as an altered state of consciousness. Basically, anytime you're daydreaming, you have creative visualization, or meditating, you're in that altered state of consciousness. So, and with that, my vision and my passion with hypnosis started 20 years ago when I read, first touched on it. Real quick, about 10 years ago, I go to a lot of the seminars and conferences, and I drug my wife with me. Unfortunately, she's not here today because I was going to pick on her a little bit. But as we were leaving in the plane ride home, the turbulence on the plane was horrendous. I mean, the worst turbulence I've ever experienced. And myself, I love flying. I love taking off. I love every aspect of flying. My wife, not so much. So when it scared me, I looked in her eyes. I saw the fear. I mean, she's just petrified. So I leaned in close and put her under, and immediately saw her muscles in her face relax, and this calm come over her. And with that, 8-10 minutes later, the captain comes over to the speaker and says, we're through all the rough patches. It's smooth sailing from here on out. At that point, I pulled her back out of hypnosis and say, "How are you feeling?" "Oh, I feel great. This is wonderful." Next week she should be here. I do want her to add on that because she has a really cool visualization that she saw while under hypnosis that I can't describe. She does a great job at that. So my vision is really to bring this mainstream. My goal is to see it taught in schools. Get in a spirit spot to where that you're open to these suggestions, and that way you're open for learning in a more effective way, and again, just bringing this to the masses. Does anyone have any questions? Because I really like to get into the guided hypnosis, the guided meditation. Ran through that really quick, but we're yes.
How many minutes did it take to put her under?
Well, luckily, I've worked with her, so she was very susceptible. She went there very quickly. So thank you for asking. And when we do this, I want to get to the spirit spot and get us there and get us comfortable with it, so that we can get there even easier and quicker the next time we have class, or anytime you want to get to that spot, to help people. So, any other questions?